Yeah, this is not gonna work. So I bought it. I bought Deluxe DonOnitaijin. So that is the focus of today's video. So basically, a lot of people have asked me, hey, Josh, you gonna buy Deluxe DonOnitaijin? No, that was not my original plan. But if you remember last Christmas time-ish or so, thanks to the real Matt Hunt, Sentai 5, Vaughn, all my good buddies on Twitter, they peer pressured me into buying Zenroku Zenkaio, or specifically the 2 Zenkaios I needed to make Zenroku Zenkaio. And this was their next goal, was for me to get Deluxe DonOnitaijin. Now, this thing sold out like crazy when it came out back in like May. But like a month ago, at the end of June, Amazon Japan had this on sale for like $50. And my buddy Chris Lawn from Lawn's Toys, he tagged me in that, and then I bought it. So I finally have it here. It's been sitting at my house like the entirety of the second half of my internship, and I've been dying to get it open. I opened this 2 days ago, and this box is absolutely gorgeous, but it is absurdly big. But let's try to show this off the best as possible. So you got the Donbrothers up there, of course. You got this gorgeous artwork of DonOnitaijin. And of course, right after I actually do finally break down and buy it, they announce an accessories thing going on for it. So there's some pictures of it up on screen right now. Basically, at the end of this month, Bandai is going to be putting up like an accessories pack, which is going to include like an entirely new Don Robotaro, which you can see right here. And that's going to have like brand new pieces for it. It's going to have new pieces for articulation. It's going to have a chair and a backdrop and all this crazy stuff. Swappable hands, I think, for Saru Robotaro. It's absolutely crazy. So look at that. Look at all the beautiful stuff we got going on there. So I am going to try to get the box out of here. And real quick, though, before I do so, if you want the instructions for DonOnitaijin and how to combine it, that is the QR code that will take you to the PDF manual for how to combine DonOnitaijin. And now I'm going to get this box out of here and show you exactly how everything is packed inside. So in the box, everything basically comes in all of these pieces. There's just like some assembly and stuff like that to do. But for a lot of this, I mean, like the legs essentially come exactly how they're going to be in leg form. I actually just disassembled this from DonOnitaijin, so this is pretty much how this is going to go. So very, very interesting how everything is kind of pieced together and how everything combines and how all the articulation works and everything. So basically, I'm going to go ahead and transform everybody into their Robotaro forms. And we can go ahead and start with Don Robotaro, because he's pretty much done, essentially. The only things you guys really do is fold out his arms like that, and then kind of make sure that that head crest is folded down like that. It doesn't really click in or anything like that. I kind of wish it did, because it doesn't like to stay down all the way all the time. But there's basically that. You can push that back down, because we're not going to need that just yet. Now you're going to make sure that these are folded like that. So there's that. And then you have these pieces, which are interesting because they come off in the box, and obviously they just clip in like that, but they don't come off for anything else. And I think they do actually come off for the combination with Toradora Gojin, which is coming out this month. So for DonOnitaijin purposes, you don't need to do anything else with those. And then you get the helmet for DonOnitaijin, which clips in. There's tiny little clips right there, and since I'm zoomed in, it's kind of hard for it to focus. So there's tiny little clips right there, and it just clips right in there like that, and it's sturdy enough. So that is going to do it for Don Robotaro. So we'll put him back there. Obviously a lot more bulkier than his Change Hero counterpart of that, which is why we actually got a Change Hero figure that was a lot more, movable and such like that. So next up we have Saru Brother that we can go ahead and transform. So essentially for this, you're just going to combine the two pieces together and then kind of just rotate everything however you see fit. It's, kind of maneuver it however you want. This head is on a little ball joint, and it popped off a little bit there, but it kind of has just this like whole contraption to it to where it kind of just accordions in and out for combination purposes, and then you can fold his legs down. And so, basically, like I said, however you want to however you sort of want to rotate this thing to kind of get it how you want is basically how you do it. So that's essentially it for Saru Robotaro. And we can go ahead and just move his head down a little bit. So we'll go ahead and move that right there. Also close the fist a little bit because I did not do that. And then next up, forgot the most important piece. You gotta clip in the abs. Obviously, you've got to give him his abs. So there we go. His abs are in place. And then, of course, we have Kiji Robotaro. So this one, it's a little tricky, but you have to fold these pieces out. So it's a little difficult to sometimes get to do so. And then you rotate this whole thing, and you kind of just push that down. So that way it's pointing outward like that. And then these pieces will just clip right in. And then these are obviously the swords, and they will connect together like that. And then clip in right there, and that will do it for that. So simple enough. Put that right there, and we'll kind of just move everything down as we slowly try to get everybody in frame here as best as I can. And then we have Oni Robotaro, which can be a little tricky sometimes. We got to fold that down and fold the legs in. And then these are going to fold out like that. And then this contraption is a little difficult. You got to like pull this joint up, rotate it around, and then push it forward. And then you have Oni Robotaro. And then finally you have Inu Robotaro. So you're going to push that out, and then you're going to fold these down, and then this entire thing is going to kind of accordion down or move down like that. And that will do it. So that is all of the Robotaros in their Robotaro form, and all of these are very cool. So let's I already kind of showed off the Don Robotaro one, so I don't really need to do too much else with that. But basically, they are very limited in their articulation when they're in their Robotaro form. Obviously, you still get a little bit, and like that can come off like that, so don't do that. But it can obviously still rotate and everything. Obviously, the head is kind of where you get the majority of the movement, and I'll zoom in on it, but yeah, the head can still rotate all over the place because it is just the head for DonOnitaijin, and it's kind of on a ball joint. Sort of. I mean, you can make it look all over the place. So there is definitely that. And I do like it, but I definitely see why they made a dedicated change hero figure for it, because it is very limiting. Same thing with Oni's sister, or Oni Robotaro. Very limited. Doesn't do anything. Basically, there's no articulation except for the head, which can kind of rotate around. You kind of hear the clicking on it there. But it does kind of make that whole mechanism like to move. So not too much articulation, and nothing really in the arms or anything like that. They just accordion in for the transformation sequences, and there's nothing in the legs. There's nothing that separates that or anything. So it still looks nice, and it's a good size too. This entire thing is a decent size. In fact, here is a Lightning Collection figure for scale. So this is a 6-inch figure, and it comes up to about the elbow of Oni Robotaro. So just to kind of give you some size comparisons for how big this entire thing is going to be when it is combined into DonOnitaijin. And I will say, I mean, obviously I'm kind of going through everything here, but this is a very impressive Sentai mech. It came out months ago, but people still wanted to see my review of it, so that's kind of why I'm doing it. Sorry, Robotaro here. Pretty cool. You do get the leg movements here, so you can kind of have him stand up, sort of, but you can really only move, unless you move the head out of the way, you can really only kind of move everything so much, because, you know, the head, like this arm you can move all over the place, but this one, the head is connected to it, so like it doesn't, it's on a ball joint kind of, so you can sort of get everything to move around a little bit, and the hands can move around, but this is pretty much just all for the articulation that the actual mech is going to have when it does all combined. And then right here for Kiji Robotaro, I keep calling it Onitaro, I don't know why I'm doing that, but for the Kiji Robotaro, you pretty much just have the wings. You can kind of have it look like almost like a Falcon Zord combined with like the Shogun Megazord kind of thing, or something like that. So that is basically, you can move the head a little bit, and like I said, the wings can kind of, you know, flap around sort of however you want to do it. I really do like all the translucent plastic though. All that pink plastic I think looks really nice. And then you have what is kind of the biggest one besides obviously Don Robotaro, and that is Inu Robotaro. So the feet can all move, but doesn't really serve any particular purpose. Like these ones are for transformation purposes, but these ones don't really move for transformation purposes because the entire like body moves. So nothing in the head, no mouth opening or anything like that. You can't really do anything there whatsoever. And then kind of tail articulation, like you can wiggle it around, but it's all just for the, you know, the purposes, and you can kind of fold it all the way up. But it's just for the purposes of being the foot of DonOnitaijin. So there is that. But that's basically everybody and everything that they can do when they're in their Robotaro forms. Now, shockingly, with how tall DonOnitaijin is going to be, it actually does just barely fit in this shelf space. So I will be able to combine everything, which is awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and move Saru and Kiji kind of out of the way, because they're going to be the arms and kind of come in last. So I'll go ahead and start with Inu and Oni. So we just got to move those up, and then these are going to fold up and then this is going to fold up, and that's it. Nothing else we really have to do for him whatsoever. So he will be our left foot, if I remember that correctly. Let me check the box just to double check. Yep, that is correct. And then Oni's sister here, we're going to fold these up, fold that like that. You know, fold these until they kind of click, and then rotate the head, which like I said can be a little tricky, and then push it forward and push it down, just like that. And then there is the other foot. And then I will go ahead and combine, didn't mean to take that apart. Let me clip that back in. Nope, there goes the helmet. We have to take it off anyway, so we'll just keep that out. So for here, you just fold down these red pegs, and then they will be able to clip right in, and you have that nice satisfying click. And now you have some legs. So I'm going to go ahead and scooch the whole camera up so you can actually see where we're going from here. So I think I can zoom in on it, and we can get everybody in frame here. I think that will work. So from here, we're going to take these, we're going to just fold them back. And when you do that, it almost kind of looks like Deno's eyes to me back there with the peach kind of motif. That's just kind of what I get out of it. So that's kind of interesting. So then we'll turn him back around. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take Saru Robotaro, and we're going to take off the abs. I cannot believe that's part of the combination, but it is, and it's awesome. And then we're just going to split him apart. And then we're kind of just going to fold everything exactly how it was before. So you want the Saru brother head to be on the kind of the shoulder right there, and then rotate this around and rotate this to be like a more fully fledged arm. And then we're going to fold the legs all the way up like that. And then that one will clip in right there. And then the exact same thing for this one. So fold up the legs, rotate this around, rotate that, and clip it in just like so. And there you have the arms going on there. We're getting pretty close. Then we're going to move this entire joint up, and we are going to clip in the abs, which can be a little tricky since you got to get underneath the red pieces there. Did I have it? Oh, it's upside down, I think, actually. No, wait, no, I got it. I don't know what I'm talking about. So there we go, it's in. Now I'm going to try to show this off as best as possible. So look at that center circle, because we push it down, the Donbrothers logo pops into frame there, which is really, really neat. I like that functionality quite a bit. And then now that we have that, we're almost there. So you can move these arms out if you want to have a little bit more dynamic poses to it. So then we're going to take Kiji brother, we're going to take the swords off of the tail, and then we're going to split him back apart. And then this is going to kind of fold down and out, kind of. It's a little tricky, but you want this to be like that, essentially. So you have the face kind of outward, and then there's these two little clips right there, and then it's kind of hard to tell, but there's these little clips right here on the part of the legs of Saru, and I know it's kind of hard to tell, but right there it's going to clip in just like that. So you have the other face on the other shoulder, and then fold the wing down, and then the exact same thing on the other side. You can go ahead and fold the wing down there and clip it in right there. Perfect. And then finally, we're going to move this piece up so you get the face of DonOnitaijin, and I'll zoom in for this part since it is the last piece besides the weapon. And then you're going to take the helmet, and it is going to click into place just like that. And that completes DonOnitaijin. So while we're up here, we have full head articulation. Very, very nice. We'll zoom back out again. You do, and I'll move the camera back down. Lots of camera movement here. You can rotate him at the waist. You can move out the arms. You can bend him at the elbows. The hands are on a ball joint, which is why we're going to get those swappable hands with the Premium Bandai accessory set. And speaking of the hands, obviously when you move the arms, the Kiji and Saru brother faces kind of break the illusion of the whole thing. So there is that to keep in mind. When we get to the legs, you can rotate them around here. They do bend at the knee, but you can't do too much with it. We'll be able to get more articulation in there. Rock should be able to get him to sit with that Premium Bandai Don Robotaro. And obviously these are kind of on a joint, so you can move the feet around a little bit. So definitely a very good size. Definitely very happy with that. And then for the swords, so we can go ahead and separate them. There are these little notches right there that are going to correspond to little pegs inside the hand, which is very hard to tell, but I'll try to show it the best I can. There's just these little notches inside of there, and basically you're just going to line that up to the corresponding notch. You might even want to take the hand out to do so. So there it is, and then these will rest in there, and then you clip the hand, and then the sword isn't going to go anywhere. So there is that. Now before I clip in the other sword, I will show you that back here on the top where Saru Brothers' feet are, there are pegs, which is very hard to tell. There's pegs right there, so you can take the swords, and oh, there goes the entire arm. You can attach the swords kind of like flags, kind of like a Gaim Kachidoki kind of thing, to the back of this thing, but there's just absolutely no way that I can show this in the review station. But you can peg both the swords up there if you wanted to do so, but like that's just not really gonna work here. So we'll go ahead and take this sword and slot that one into his hand. Come on, like so. Kind of. That one didn't really peg in very well, but it's supposed to. There we go. And that's it. That is DonOnitaijin, fully complete and fitting in here the best I can. So this thing's awesome. I absolutely recommend this thing quite a bit. I'm definitely going to probably have to pick up Toradora Gaijin now to actually have it combine with this, because it can combine with this. We have leaked listings that we're going to be getting a premium Bandai black version of this, like one of those old limited color versions of Sentai Mecha they used to do. So that's incredibly tempting, but this is already a very expensive mecha. I have no idea if it's still in stock on Amazon Japan. If it is, I'll leave a link to it in the description below. But it's been out for like 3 months or so. But it is really cool, and if you're definitely a fan of Donbrothers, or just Sentai Mecha in general, this is an impressive piece that I think is definitely worth it for your collection, because you can just get some cool poses out of this, and the engineering is awesome, the design is really cool. Like Sentai, and Bandai, Plex, Toei, everybody, they went hard with this one. They really put a lot of effort into this, and so it's a really cool piece to have, and it's big, it towers. I saw a picture comparing this with the Zap Dragonzord, or Zap Megazord, sorry, from Lightning Collection, and that comes up to like right here, and it's like double the price of this thing. So there's that to keep in mind. I mean, it is an expensive piece, and it took a lot with shipping and everything too. It was like nearly $100 after that. But I definitely do think that it's worth it. So even though this review is months late, I wasn't sure if I was actually ever going to buy this, and then I did anyway. And I'm very happy that I did after all. It's definitely an impressive piece to put in my collection. So let me know down in the comments below, are you going to pick this thing up? I hope you guys enjoyed the review of it here, because I know some people wanted to see the review, even though it is months late. And also, if you have it, what did you do with it? Shelf space wise and everything. Or if you're going to pick it up, what are you going to do with it? Are you going to get, everything to combine with it? Are you going to wait for that black version? Are you going to buy the Don Robotaro accessory set? Anything about it down in the comments below. I want to read it. And of course, until next time, you guys can follow me on Twitter, @LiveYourNinjaKey, or @LightningFigPR, and you can check out reviews on all of the other toys from Avataro Sentai Donbrothers, linked in the end card linked in the playlist in the end card. So I'll see you all next time.